All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case over on Rumble. Unpause and repause just to make sure that it doesn't play anything. PRS crystallized. Fromage. That's French for clank. No, it's French for cheese, actually. Une valise du fromage. I took a couple of years of French, actually, in high school, and it was pretty fun, let me tell you. First teacher was Miss Martin. Can't remember the name of the second teacher, actually. Interesting. But yeah, I decided to do French instead of Spanish. Probably habla español would have been easier, but and possibly more useful. But I just thought French was fun. 3-inch hippopotamus. You're getting weird, Sticks. Have you not been on the channel for a long time? One of the first things that I was known for was making drug reports back in the day. So, yeah. What's up with the pirate look? Arr, matey, be piratical. Be going to New Orleans pretty soon. Might hijack a ship and sail it out to sea and fight the cartels, don't you know? Take their drugs from them. I don't know. Some people really like the pirate look and some people hate it. But this was sent to me by a subscriber and I always wanted a tricorn hat. And I was like, you know, I'm going to wear it on, you know, my videos. There's no way that I'm not going to do so. Metalhead Madman. Dems have started the impeachment process against President Trump for the third time. They'll fail at this endeavor. They don't have the votes, number one. Certainly not in the Senate. Number two, they have no basis for impeachment at this time. Yeah, we've got lots of news to cover, though. I didn't docket any of it. I'm just basically, at this point, I'm being a little bit more chill and laid back on the live streams, and I'm just sort of going through the news as we go. And so people can bring up whatever topics they want, and I'll try to look them up. But right now, one of the big pieces of news is, number one, Donald Trump backing down both Canada and Mexico. That's a big thing. China is attempting to impose tariffs on the United States. I'm not sure how effective this will be, by the way, considering the U.S. is a net importer. There are actually benefits to being a net importer. That's probably the only major one. We've got everything's going so fast. I don't even bother docketing the news at this point because there's so much news to fucking cover. It's goddamn impossible. We had an egg heist in Pennsylvania the other day. $40,000 of eggs were stolen from the back of a delivery van, actually. And yeah, so I mean, things have gone completely insane at this point. And apparently there's an impeachment process. Oh, Ethan Ralph is back. Let me see. I thought he was in rehab, actually. Good on him, by the way. I mean, if he's willing to clean himself up and shit like that, then he deserves credit for that. There are a lot of people who fucking hate him. I never understood why. Let's see. Oh yeah, Ethan Ralph, as of 1 hour ago, I'm back. Good on you, Ethan. I wish you well. It takes a brave person to say, hey, I'm going to rehab, by the way. So I'll give him my respect. Of an anaconda, Politico received taxpayer money through USAID to aid in propaganda. I fucking hate leftoids. Yeah, I mean, that has actually happened. As of the Obama administration, propaganda, domestically speaking, was no longer banned. So the U.S. government could literally fund state propaganda within the United States. Before it was like, okay, well, you can broadcast it abroad, but you can't do it domestically. Obama ended that policy. I would advise Trump, if I had his ear, to reinstate the original policy and say, no, the United States government does not have the right to broadcast domestic propaganda. It's a little bit different. It's sort of like if somebody is from abroad, they're not covered under the Constitution. Domestic citizens are. There's a difference between the two. There's a differentiation between the two within the law. Stephen Nizik, in reference to your video yesterday on Mexico and Canada, I heartily disagree. Fallout said we are fated to annex Canada. I need my T-60 power armor, and that means Canada must fall. Lol. Happy Flame, I failed at rehab. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work, but an effort is made, and I wish him well, and I hope that it works for him. I know he passed out on a stream at one point, and it was shortly thereafter that he went to rehab. But he's trying. I mean, he hasn't given up. Why fault the dude? By the way, I've decided to sell out. I've got Starbucks double shot. I need more caffeine. In fact, I didn't take my mushroom pill this morning. Shit. Oh, fuck me. I mean, not literally. Yeah, I don't think that I took my supplements yet today. Or maybe I did, but I forgot. That would be a big problem. Thankfully, you can't really overdose on the mushroom pills from Cultivated Mind, so no problem. I'm drinking Starbucks. Yep, I'm really moving on in life. Mushroom pills and multivitamins. I'm pretty sure that I forgot to take them earlier. I've also got V8 over here. I was going to save it for the quartering stream, but I've only got one can left. I've got to get more of them. And I didn't chill it, so it's not going to taste quite as good. It's sort of like more of a tomato soup when it's not chilled. The dirty straw. Please resist homosexual urges. Yeah. I'm a very serious adult, as you may have noticed. I'm an extremely mature individual. Soleil 333. Vaush says that his job might disappear and starts begging his audience for subscriptions and money. Maybe he was getting some of that USAID money. Interesting. He says this while Doge is looking at it. Allegations are that he was getting money from the British government, ironically. I don't allege that myself. I don't know. I don't like Vaush. I don't like the commie streamers, but that is the allegation that I saw from multiple people. NKFD, Hassan Piker left the country. Well, good riddance. I defended him on one occasion because YouTube was screwing him in the ass and censoring him. Because I hate censorship more than anything else. I hate even more than commies. But, yeah, good riddance if he left. Oh, Dave. Allegations are that I have a large penis. I would show my penis, but most of you do not own a magnifying glass, so it wouldn't really be relevant now, would it? Self-deprecation, the best form of humor. Well, that and joking about dead babies and things like that. Yeah, Moscovich, nothing of value was lost. Yeah, if Hassan has decided to leave the country, I don't really give a shit. Kim Jong-poon. Stick seems like the kind of friend who's really fun to hang out with in short stints, but after like 3 days together, he's driving you up a fucking wall. You are correct. Yes. I have that tendency. Gooby, please. Oh, that's right. Just a second. I've got a package actually here. I might as well live open it. It's from Jammin' Bean. since I'm going to be shouting them out anyway, I got it yesterday, but I didn't get around to opening it. I had other things that I had to do. Let's see what we've got from Jam and Bean today. If I can find my knife. I've got like 10,000 pockets. It's fucking impossible. Let's do that really quickly first. Arr, matey. Arr, we be pirates. Let's see what we got today. Ooh, oh yeah, this is going to be a good time, I can tell. We've got from Jam Being the Healer. Yunnan Jig. This is my favorite, I think, of the caffeinated teas. It's extremely good. You just put it in a pot, you brew it. Oh, he sent 2 of them, actually. Okay, well, that works for me. And then a whole shit ton of coffee. God, how many? There's like 4 packs of coffee. Sunrise Symphony Signature Blend, Costa Rica Cafe Rosé, and 2 of the plant coffees. Yeah. You got to get some of these, dudes. You don't like it. I'm going to be drinking all that. That's a shit ton of coffee and tea. Now, this is a very serious stream, by the way. Mystery One, Ramu, space artist in Kyoto, interested in your take on Asian and surreal art. Thank you. I really like Asian art. You see this wall hang, for example, behind me. I think I've got about 50 of those, maybe 60. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to count them. I've got them all over the place. They're in the hallway. They're in the living room. They're in the kitchen. They're here in the office. They're in my bedroom. A huge number of them. Asian art is, in my opinion, superior to Western art, generally speaking, especially if it's from like Japan. I know some of them were outsourced and made in China towards the latter end. I've studied the history of these, actually. It's fascinating. There was one U.S. company, and they were getting them, they're still on bamboo, but they were getting them from China, actually. But that was around 1986 or thereabouts. And then it sort of peters out towards the end of the 1980s as far as supply. Originally, that art form, though, was generally done on silk. And it was done like in the 30s and 40s. It's a traditional Japanese artistic style. And I know my grandfather actually had not only his portrait done, but he had a couple of silk tigers. And they're hanging on the wall in the living room as well. So this house is literally filled with Asian art. I've been collecting them for a very long time. Again, I don't know exactly how many pieces that I have. In fact, I've got some repeats. And you can tell some of them are hand-drawn because you'll have the same fashion, like the tiger looking up at the dragon, the tiger with the eagle, certain kinds of flowers and stuff like that. And they were clearly handmade and printed and literally signatured. But the latter day ones are a little bit different. Some of those you can tell that they were printed onto it. So, for example, the dragon that I've got right beside me, or that one, that's handmade. It was created by hand. The ducks, the dragon, the phoenix, the lady. This one is printed. You can tell the difference. And sometimes you can find marks from the company, usually on the back of the bamboo screening. And so I've literally considered creating a book on the subject because it's so fascinating, the evolution over time. It appears that around 1975 was around the time that this particular art style on bamboo, the actual scrolls, was generally developed. And it started with calendars, actually, more than anything else. I've got one. I wish I could show it off. In fact, maybe I'll show off my new collection again because I've shown it off before. I've got one. It's actually like an ad for Antigua. It's like a touristy ad for the island of Antigua. Clearly, this was made at the end of the 70s, early 80s, and it probably hang in a shop. It might be one of a goddamn kind. It's also got a little bit of a problem because one of the bamboo flaps in it is backwards, actually. So the Antigua part is a little bit imperfect. It seems that they were quite common for a while. I remember seeing them all of the time as a kid, and a lot of them are smoke stained. That's because they were in restaurants. And back then, people could smoke in the restaurant. And so a lot of times you'll find that there's smoke staining on these particular bamboo wall hangs. And that's what they're called. Bamboo wall hang, bamboo wall scroll, Japanese wall scroll. They're interchangeable. A lot of them are vintage 80s, and I'm obsessed with them. I'm obsessed with everything 1980s. You may have noticed this. I kind of look like I came out of the Goonies movie or something at the moment, actually. Let's see. Pablo Miel. Morning, Sticks. Letitia James sent out a memorandum to all police departments in New York titled Guidance Concerning Local Authorities' Participation in Immigration Enforcement and Model Provisions. I'm sure that there will be full cooperation from Letitia James. Pumpkin Fire Craft. Sticks, I sent you a DM and some mock-ups on Twitter and X. Nice. I'll check that out in a bit. Let's see. Garrett Thomas. Hey, Sticks, what is your response to gaylords who claim Trump is a fascist? They should look up the definition of fascism. You'll find he's kind of semi-classically libertarian. The Dirty Straw. Hi, Sticks. What would be your death row meal? I would refuse a meal if I were on death row, because I wouldn't think that it was ethical for me to bother eating when I'm going to die anyway. And Javon Halen. Sticks, do you think plastic is a contributing factor to dementia? Yeah, nanoplastic is, it appears, unfortunately, partially responsible to an increase in dementia cases. Which doesn't surprise me. It can literally permeate your cells. The rest is kind of self-explanatory. Senor Faces. Sticks, instead of pretend pirate, how about helping a settlement? A settlement needs your help. I marked your map. Oh, God. I get the reference. Holden Sneedmeyer. China puts restrictions on rare minerals. Trump says on Truth Social that we'll get them from Ukraine. Russia controls territory that has the minerals. Bannon warned him about Ukraine, his Vietnam. No, I think it's the big ask. It's with Donald Trump, you've got to understand, he'll be hyperbolic and say, I want 100% of this thing. And he's not expecting to get it. He understands the art of negotiation. In the end, he gets 60% instead. Well, you've still gotten what you want, because that was what you wanted to begin with. It's sort of like Canada and Mexico. He managed to get a concession from Canada with regards to U.S. border control, the fentanyl crisis. He got border security from Mexico. Nobody, I think, in the legacy media expected him to be capable of doing so. It wasn't really about wanting to tariff these countries, because they're both allies of the United States. We don't want to screw with them, but you threaten to screw with them. And then they come to the table. And it took like 72 hours. It was that quick. China will take a little bit longer. They're a much bigger economy. And they also have, their own currency union and so forth. So that'll take longer. Yeater Theater. Will Sticks go to jail on a candy corn diet sentence? Well, I think I'd rather be on death row, honestly. Why has candy corn become the ultimate meme of the channel? It used to be 10.2 or Clank. Now it's candy corn. And it makes me nauseous every time I go live. Bogged one. Doge to audit IRS and look at Medicare and Medicaid money. Oh, excellent. Yeah, we've got to look that up. Definitely. Yeah, Doge is doing a good job. By the way, I pointed out this morning, The legacy media is trying to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon Musk. They're absolutely doing this. They're trying to use public opinion in part to do this by saying that Trump, he came out the other day and he said, well, Elon Musk doesn't have the power to enact actual policy. It's an advisory committee. Well, no shit, Sherlock. We were told this to begin with. But they're pretending, if you read the legacy media headlines, they're pretending that Donald Trump was dressing down Elon Musk, which never actually happened. What he was doing was responding to reporters and pointing out, look, Doge can't cancel U.S. aid or anything like that. It can simply advise on the use of U.S. aid. And they're advising me. This was already known. There's no falling out or anything. This is like the third time that they've tried to drive a wedge between Trump and Musk. And the reason why is that you have the head executive of the United States paired with the richest man in the world. And that terrifies them. It terrifies them because Musk might make the Space Force an actual reality. Musk can fund political campaigns. Musk can advise Donald Trump and potentially influence policy. And Trump, meanwhile, politically speaking, can shield Musk and give him kickbacks, which happens in politics all the goddamn time. There's nothing you can do about it, whether you like it or not. At the very least, the people that are involved in this particular duality are generally good people. I don't agree with everything that Elon Musk believes in. I don't believe in everything that Donald Trump believes in. I don't support them on everything that they're trying to do. But generally speaking, Musk is, in my opinion, a good person, actually gives a damn, and is actually trying to get ahead, and that capitalism is very, very helpful for the country. Donald Trump, I believe, no longer gives any shits. He can't run for office again anyway. He's going to break all the toys. Well, I support that. I think that's a good idea. The legacy media is terrified of the fact that these two extremely powerful people with collectively, a fucking $100 billion to their name or some crazy shit like that, have gotten together and are using their joint forces to try to examine the uniparty that they want to be party to. That's basically what's happening right here. Anaho Dave, what's the longest sentence in the English language? That'd be one hell of a run-on, I guess. Let's see. Holden Sneedmeyer, I understand that Trump is not being given the correct information. See Syria withdrawal. Yeah, that was a big one that everyone forgot about. His art of the deal doesn't work when he has a weak hand. That's why you do the big ask, yeah. Joe, surprised you haven't mentioned Gaza yet. Yes, I did actually talk about that this morning. Donald Trump effectively insinuated that the United States might take control of the Gaza Strip. I do not believe he's serious about it, and I hope that he's not serious about it. If you were going to do that, you would need to also take Israel and the West Bank and possibly Jordan. You'd need to effectively take control of the old British possession that was Transjordan. If you did that, it would make more logistic sense. If you were to only take the Gaza Strip over, though, effectively you're just paying Israel's bills more. There's no reason to do so. Gaza's been decimated anyway. It barely exists anymore. I mean, the people of Gaza, they don't even have homes. They don't have homes. They don't have businesses. Unemployment's like what, 95%? Or some insane amount like that. It makes no sense that we would take over Gaza. It wouldn't make any sense for us. It also wouldn't make any sense for Gaza. Flip Shibby, elaborate on Max Stirner, please. Let me try to pull up an article here then. I can try. Oh, the German flag, yeah. I don't know exactly a huge amount about him, actually. I know that there was a funny meme, though, one time where he bashes Karl Marx in the head and says he's on ketamine or something like that, which is believable based on what little I know about his philosophy. Agamemnon Fireman, Sticks, did you see the Dems are impeaching Trump for a third time? Just broke about an hour ago. What the fuck are they doing? They don't even have the House. Lol. Yeah, I'm going to look into that, and I'll probably be covering it tomorrow, but it's guaranteed that they fail. 100% chance of failure. It's just sour grapes. But they've done this twice before, and they knew they didn't have the votes to actually remove him from office. They just impeached him. Ozzy's Robots. Hey, Sticks, recovering from bronchitis. We'll let you know when I have a voice again. Trump is an American dominant globalist versus a subservient cucked U.S., in my opinion. I don't think that he's a globalist at all. What I think is that Donald Trump is it's difficult to describe. There's no real category for his kind of politics, if that makes sense. But he's not a globalist. He's also not really a nationalist. He believes in America first. He believes in populism, I mean, after a fashion. He's kind of a classical liberal. He's a quasi-globalist in the sense of wanting world trade, but that's really subservient to free trade, which is more of a capitalist idea, so that would be more CivNat. It's very difficult to describe his actual political opinions. There's a huge amount of nuance there. Ronnie Marshall. Morning, Sticks. Thanks for supporting President Trump. You get his art of the deal. Yeah, I voted for Trump. I'm very proud to have done so. I'm extremely happy about the election results. Holden Sneedmeyer. Ozzy's Robots apparently missed the interview where Rubio said U.S. hegemony is over and the world has returned to multiple spheres of influence. Yes, that is true. There's no longer a U.S. Sort of monopolar world as there was, after the atomic age ended, when the Cold War ended. That is true. He's not wrong. China has risen up as a multipolar power. Russia, I would say basically there are three powers in the world, three major powers. There's the US and the Western Hemisphere. There's the European Union. And then there's the BRIC sphere, so to speak. So it's sort of a tripolar world. Now, I imagine the U.S. and its allies, assuming that we can assert the Monroe Doctrine and unite the hemisphere, we win. We have more resources, less overhead. We're capable of doing that. BRICS, I think, probably falls short because India very well may decide to go westward ho. I've predicted that for a number of years. I don't think that they're going to be able to cohabit with the Chinese forever. And I think that Modi is very friendly towards Trump. I can't wait to go see India myself. The EU has the problem of having very high population density and overall generally a low output, actually. Now, that's not universal. The Netherlands, for example, is the second largest food exporter in the goddamn world after the United States. The Netherlands, that little tiny chunk of land above Belgium. France has a lot of automotives, mechanical things. Germany certainly has a lot of output, so they've got some advantages. But the population density is so high and the output overall so low compared to the population that I don't think the European Union is a working model. Technically, the fourth pole would be the UK and its diaspora, but it really doesn't exert any control over its diaspora at this point. It's basically in the US's pocket, which is good for the US and good for the UK at the same time. Yeah, technically speaking, though, US hegemony has ended. I mean, Rubio's not wrong when he says that. Slick Rick, Sticks, did you hear about the ancient ruins discovered on Mars? Them pesky aliens could be hiding under the surface. We gotta colonize the planet so we can tax them and steal their oil. Clank. Yes, this would be a good example, by the way, exploring the moon and Mars specifically. A good way to test my hypothesis with regards to oil and gas production. I believe that chemotrophs and extremophile bacteria in the Earth's crust, in areas of high concentration, eat and excrete, basically. They eat radiation, they eat chemicals, they break down rocks, whatever. And then they die, and excretion is created. My theory is that over time, and with proper pressure and heating, these excretions turn into oil and or gaseous releases, and they tend to osmose into areas of lower concentration, so more porous rock, basically. And that's what we're extracting. I believe in the biotic creation of these fuels. I don't believe that it's the result of any other natural process. If we go to Mars, where supposedly there's no life, although we may find it when we get there, and we were to drill, baby, drill, and we don't find any form of fuel, that would seem to evince that hypothesis, because supposedly Mars still has running water, at least sporadically and so forth. It has certainly seismic things going on, and it also has plumes coming out. We've seen a picture of that. People thought it was an alien or something. If all of those are true, and the abiotic origin of oil is true, then we should find it on Mars. We should find pockets of oil there. If we don't find any fuel upon exploration, then the biotic genesis of these energy sources, I would think, would be effectively proven. Curse these metal hands. Curse my metal hands and these bamboo flaps. Goodness. Trev Mill, Schizo Hexenhammer 666. No, I'm not schizophrenic. I've got OCD and DHD and so forth. Richard Reynolds, you missed mine and Dark Brandon Super Chat. My apologies. I'll go back and try to find them. It's hard to keep up with them, though, because there's so many of them. I'm not seeing it. Oh, Dark Brandon, have you seen the videos I've made about you? No, I haven't, actually. Richard Reynolds, Archimedes lived in Syracuse on the island Sicily. Yes, I know. He developed some sort of winch system, and he could literally like lift ships out of the water and then capsize them. And so people were terrified of him. They thought he was a wizard. Bogged one, how often do you think about the Roman Republican Empire? Pretty much every single day, actually. Copium Poppies, did you listen to Tool yet? Well, I've listened to Tool before. It's just I wouldn't know any of the names of their songs. Baja Cat, Sticks, Al Green is trying to bring articles of impeachment against Trump, and even CNN is roasting the Dem Party for their stupidity. Yeah, it's completely retarded. I mean, they're not going to pass through the House, let alone the Senate. What the hell are you doing? You're wasting everybody's time. This is just more evidence of what I pointed out earlier today. The Democratic Party is incapable of learning. They seem to, I mean, in response to losing the election, what do? Do they embrace the Union Dems and say, maybe we want to get working class Americans back on board? No. What do? They side with AOC. And then she's having a feud with the leader of the party, the de facto leader, which is Nancy Pelosi. Makes absolutely no goddamn sense. I mean, they're acting worse than the Republicans. Aussies robots, yes, but if Trump could roll in Canada and Greenland to expand territory, he would. That's what I mean. Doesn't negate a multipolar model. Well, if the U.S. manages to take control of Canada, we become monopolar again, because that's a huge land area, an enormous amount of resources, etc. I just don't think that that's necessarily a likelihood. Funka Puppet, any concern about Canada turning off our electricity? Not even slightly. Not even slightly concerned. Doc Holiday, what's with the pirate hat and glasses? New followers are going to think you're reading from a prompter like Razor Fist. Lol. I never read from a prompter. I decided I wanted to be a pirate. And so I became a pirate. Arr, matey. Get a little rum up front for cooking, don't you know? By the way, Treasure Island with Christian Bale and Charlton Heston, one of the best movies ever made. Pumpkin Fire Crafts, jade, turquoise, and a few other gemstone necklaces available for Valentine's Day at PFC. 10% off using code STICKS, and free shipping on orders over $100 and print-on-demand items. Nice. I can't even get to the news because the super chats are coming through so quickly. Ronnie Marshall, could you sing a few bars of Dead Man's Chest for us? Arr, 16 pirates on a dead man's chest. Drink to the devil and damn all the rest. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Holden Sneedmeyer. More than 4 sticks. Erdogan speaks of retaking Damascus, Ottoman land. India on the rise. Modi is meeting with Xi to resolve border issues. Indonesia joined BRICS. Putin has spoke of Novorossiya. Yeah, the Eastern Bloc is becoming a problem again. The problem for them is the limitless ability of the United States population to be very, very concerted with regards to our own hemisphere. If North and South America simply unite, I mean, not as one country, but, you know, in general, we can tackle anything. It will be impossible for anyone to destroy us. It seems to be happening too. For example, Argentina, for a very, very long time, was run by far leftoids. They were kind of hostile to U.S. interests. Now it's run by Javier Milei, who the first time he met Trump managed to actually flummox him. He's like, "President!" And he goes and gives him a big hug. And Trump's like, "Oh, okay, calm down. You know, okay, that's fine." Wasn't surprising, by the way. Javier Milei is exactly the sort of the dude. Imagine that you could have like a drinking party with Javier Milei and Nigel Farage. Everyone would die of alcohol poisoning, probably. That would be funny. Yeah. Gun Game 93. Trump making a mistake getting involved with Gaza. I don't think that's actually his goal. I think this is his big ask. It's to force the Palestinian Authority to work with the Israelis because he's clearly pro-Israel. I think that's what he's going for. But it would be a mistake to roll into Gaza while we could take it over in a single day. There's no reason to. Like, it's not ethical. It's not economical. You'd still lose manpower. And our military right now is not necessarily at 100%. Although the Marines are at the U.S. border, they've got their ospreys down there and literal vertibirds. Taco Woman Sandy Ravage. Check out the Tool song Eulogy. Great lyrics. King of Biltong. Increase your protein intake with some great tasting meat snacks. Biltong is packed with B12, creatine, iron, zinc, and much, much more. Get some at biltongusa.com. Use code STICKS for 10% off. By the way, a good idea because it's delicious. In fact, let us read out our sponsors. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get delicious mushroom pills. I use them every single day. There's a reason I'm so high energy at my age, you know? I'm a decrepit old man. I can still perambulate. We've got pumpkinfirecrafts.us, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, and much, much more. Engraved spoons as well. Good stocking stuffers and shit like that. The bookmarks are probably my favorite because I really like books. Just saying. biltongusa.com, where you can get the biltong that Anton just mentioned, as well as other things. We've got Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs. We've got tumblers. We've got shirts. He's got, this Bovrite stuff, which is like basically an upgraded version of Vegemite. I think I like this more than Vegemite or Marmite. I've tried all three. The Bovrite, I think, is definitely the best of the three. It's got a beefy flavor. Wicked Needle Embroidery.bigcartel.com, where you can get Stick, Sex, and Hammer hats. They don't offer tricorns, but they do offer baseball caps. Several colors and varieties are available. heritageheirloomseedcompany.com, where you can get a seed survival bucket. You can also get Sticks, X, and Hammer soap there. We've got the Cedar Clove Blueberry blend. That's the blue bar. And then we've got the Lavender Marjoram blend, which is the pink bar. Sort of a his and hers sort of thing. The his went first, and then we're like, oh, well, people seem to like it. Why don't we make like a specifically dedicated to females version to celebrate the fact that there are only two genders? We've got websterswares.com/sticks-wares, where you can get various things. We've got blades there, really good quality knives. We've got beanies, an homage to Tim Pool. There are jackets available as well, and I think they probably still have some of the Trump stuff available. I'll have to check the actual website because it might have all been sold off by now. There was like a literal Black Friday sort of deal. And then finally, jamandbean.com. That is JAMNbean.com. You can get Clank coffee. I've got 4 more bags of coffee now. I couldn't be happier, by the way, about this. And some tea. This Yunnan Jig is one of the most tasty teas I've ever had. It's like the upgraded version of what you get in a Chinese restaurant. You know, you get those little white cups that like hold 6 ounces, and they have like a black tea. This is the better version of that. I don't know exactly where it's sourced from, but goddamn, it's pretty tasty. Also, it hits hard. Have a couple cups of that, you'll be unable to sleep. I say that as an insomniac. I accidentally drank a bunch of that one time before bed. I didn't get to sleep that night. Let's put it that way. Yeah, at this point, we're just rambling. I'm going to look up that impeachment article. Aussie's Robots. Millie was at the Starlight Ball. He was wasted. Oh, General Millie was wasted? Why does this not surprise me? What the fuck? The Dirty Straw. I love crack. You got to become a sleazy P. Martini fan. John Hoyle, a pretty good series based on the French-Canadian syrup heist called The Sticky. Series music is French covers of classic rock songs. Worth a watch. By the way, interesting historical fact. There was one time that there was an incident. Let me look it up really briefly. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was in Boston. Yeah, the Great Molasses Flood. There was one time in the greater Boston area that a molasses factory decided to fuck off under the wheels of a bus. And apparently, for decades thereafter, people could still smell the molasses. A large storage tank filled with 2.3 million gallons of molasses, weighing approximately 13,000 short tons, burst, and the resultant wave of molasses rushed through the streets at an estimated 35 miles per hour. So we're talking about a river of molasses, killing 21 people and injuring 150. The event entered local folklore, and residents reported for decades afterwards that the area still smelled of molasses on hot summer days. Look up the Great Molasses Flood if you want to see something. Apparently what happened is that the storage tanks weren't really properly secured. Back then, you didn't have as much regulation. This comes with both benefits and cons. This was one of the cons, causing a number of deaths. But yeah, I mean, people literally drowned in molasses. I am not a fan of molasses. Maple syrup, you can drown me in maple syrup. Just know that I died happy. I mean, if I die in a maple syrup vat, that's perfectly fine. Molasses really isn't my thing, though. I don't understand really why it's used. I can understand as a flavorant, but I'm not really a fan of it. I know I'm just rambling at this point. Doc Holliday, I don't believe for 1 second he's serious. That would be defying no new wars, and he's just using it as a bargaining chip. I'm going to overlook his love for the little hats. Yeah, I don't think that Donald Trump seriously is thinking of invading the Gaza Strip. I have a feeling that it's literally just a big ask, which would fit in with the other diplomatic efforts he's been making. It's the same with Canada, Mexico. What does he do? I'm going to tariff you at 15%. Oh, no, 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 please, Mr. Trump, don't do that. Here, we'll help defend your borders from the outside in. We'll appoint a fentanyl czar and stuff like that. Okay, well, the tariffs are paused for at least 30 days. And by at least 30 days, Donald Trump means I'm not going to tariff you. That's what's happened. The only exception so far is China. That's the only exception. With that, I think that the tariff war will be more serious. Fuck molasses, I use muscovado. I have no clue what that is. That's from Bretling. Huh. King of Biltong. Here's a conspiracy theory. Myself and both my boys got a nasty bug, but none of the girls got sick. My wife asked on the community page, and it seems 99% of boys got sick. I never get sick. This flattened me. Huh. I suppose it is possible for a virus or bacteria to be gender specific. I mean, it's possible. At this point, nothing surprises me. So, yeah, I believe in your conspiracy theory. Pilgrim Media, let's hear it out for Doge, friends. Taking names. The Dirty Straw, whole milk or 2%? Whole milk only. Never 2% milk. And definitely not fucking skim milk. 2% is at least edible. Skim milk is like, okay, why don't you just drink water? Yeah, I only drink whole milk. Preferably locally sourced. Jesus Christ. There's something wrong with this chair. I don't know exactly what it is. It keeps rolling around on its own. Yeah, I love dairy products. Cottage cheese is probably my favorite. Whole milk is nice and refreshing if it's chilled. Cottage cheese, or pretty much any cheese for that matter. I've even made my own paneer. It's really simple. You just take milk and you react it with an acid, and then you strain it through a cheesecloth. Ta-da, you've got paneer. If you salt and flavor it, then you've got cottage cheese. Your house is haunted. It's possessed. Greek yogurt's fine. Kefir is fine. I like it all, basically. I think dairy and just fruits and vegetables is basically my forte. Well, and eggs and stuff like that. I do like meat, but I don't eat it with every meal. Pilgrim Media, Captain Sticks, when are you going back to Holland? Probably in April. Not sure yet. Everyone's saying that my chair is possessed. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Happy fun. Titty juice rules. Yeah, I mean, I would probably try breast milk, but I think that titty juice from cows is probably a little bit better. I've heard that breast milk actually is kind of off-putting unless the woman drinks like pineapple or something like that. I don't know. I've never drank breast milk. I mean, not from a human individual. Time to change the cylinder in your chair. Oh, that might be the problem. Maybe it needs a readjustment. Scott Neilbarger. You truly are still the only goth industrial type I've seen who isn't a raging liberal. Yeah, I mean, I voted for Obama in 2008, quickly realized my mistake, and then I never went back. It's not that I'm a conservative or a Republican or something like that. I just believe in maximized personal liberty and capitalism. I'm uninterested in the government interfering with my life. We'll put it that way. Copium poppies. Have you ever had those Oikos Greek yogurts? I have had one at least once. They're awesome. The berry flavor is the best. Plus, they are sugar-free. Yes, I've had one of those before. Pilgrim Media, is lactating milkmaids a kink, Captain Sticks? No. No. Not in my case, at least. It could be a kink for somebody else. I mean, women's breasts they're wonderful. But I've never had breast milk from a human. I've drank plenty of cow breast milk. It is kind of funny when you think about it. People drink, gallon after gallon of breast milk from cows, but then they have a problem with the idea of women lactating in public for their babies. It is a little bit weird when you think about it, like for ethical reasons. Clint Sains, have you ever had bull milk? No, but Kamala Harris's running mate allegedly did. I can't even remember his name because he's so goddamn forgettable. What is his name? I don't even goddamn remember it because he was so forgettable. I mean, I kind of remember Kamala Harris for being completely goddamn absent. Yeah, Walls. I was thinking Tim Kaine at first. That was Hillary Clinton's running mate. Yeah, Tampon Walls. See, that's exactly the problem with the goddamn campaign. It was so forgettable. I'm a political commentator, and I couldn't even remember his friggin' name. There's a reason for that. Copium poppies. We should start commercial human dairy farming. There are actually women that sell their breast milk because some women, they don't produce enough of it. And so, they've got a baby. They don't want to use formula. And so they have to buy breast milk. It's generally localized, of course. Yeah, Tampon Tim. I couldn't even remember his goddamn name. I know who Joe Biden is. I know who Kamala Harris is. But Tim Walz, he disappeared into the background immediately. He has faded into oblivion. Mexican milkmaids. Goodness. Yeah, I would assume that generally speaking, like breast milk, it must have to be sold generally locally because I don't think you'd want to freeze it. And you couldn't really ship it refrigerated. I mean, you could at least short distance, but that must be a localized thing. I don't know anything about this. Edward Ream, first time visiting Belgium at the end of March for musical events in Antwerp. Any recommendation for a week's worth of stuff to do? Yeah, instead of going to Belgium, go to the Netherlands because it's better. Semi-joking. No, if you can get to Amsterdam, you can have a lot of fun there. Amsterdam's a food paradise. Like every food in the goddamn world is available. There's literally not a country, I think, that's not represented other than maybe like Turkmenistan or something like that. Copium poppies. You could turn it into cheese and ice cream. Yeah, you remember that one scene from Borat where he met with a senator and he offered him cheese? He's like, oh, it's customary. And he's like, my wife make this cheese with milk from her tit. And then he was like, that was funny. I liked Borat. I may not like Sacha Cohen, but at the same time, his politics at least. But he is talented, and they were funny movies. Borat was great. Bruno, I thought, was better. The Dictator, I mean, it was watchable, but it wasn't great. It was entirely scripted. And then Borat 2 was fine, It wasn't as funny as the first, but it was still watchable. Pilgrim Media, when lactating, bodacious tatas are best. Well, tatas in general are best. Look, if you're a straight male, you like titties. You like vaginas. You like girls' butts. Just the way that it is. Stephen M. The eyes are leather straps of the anus. Alice Jackson, hard R, bro. Yeah, when I get back to New Orleans, I'm going to have to go on a steamship again. And I'm going to look exactly like this. I'm going to be a pirate. The Dirty Straw. Kung Pao Enter the Fist is a highly sophisticated classic. I agree with you. I think that Nick C. agrees with me on this. He was the one that actually got me interested in the movie. My friend Nick from high school. I just randomly sat down next to him and said, "Can I take this seat?" And he's like, "Yeah." In the science class, general science, it was, I think, honors science. This was like in 9th grade. And we got to talking and just became fast friends. And he's a great dude. He does like bodybuilding at this point. He was always on the more brawny and athletic side than me. But we were talking about Kung Pao Enter the Fist. He was telling me about the movie. I'm like, shit, I got to see this shit. And I saw it, and it's become one of my favorite movies. I love the scene where the cow is doing kung fu. Steve Odekirk, I mean, the movie makes no sense, right? But it's still hysterical. Jackson Finlay. Hey, Sticks, got a question. You used to call Trump a mild reformer. Do you still believe that's an accurate characterization? Yes. When people say that he's being extreme or something like that, they're completely wrong. Effectively, he's trying to soft reset the United States back to a point in which it actually worked, which was maybe 40, 50 years ago. That's what he's trying to do. He's not a fascist. He's not a Nazi or anything like that. Waffle House, don't make me do the impression. From this day forward, you will all refer to me by the name Betty. But isn't Betty a woman's name? Oh, I fucking love that movie. Swinging the chain, swinging the chain. I can quote large parts of that movie for a reason. By the way, please send no more super chats. I have to get off the line at some point here. Also, remember, at 1 p.m., I will be live with the quartering, and we'll probably go till about 3. We may do a one-off, and then I'm taking the rest of the day off. Tomorrow, I might not do a live stream at all. I might just make my basic bitch videos and just, say fuck it. Because, I mean, I have a great deal of fun when I'm live streaming, but at the same time, at some point, I'm an insomniac. I need to get sleep. Pilgrim Media, Captain Edward Teach, Blackbeard was king. Stephen M., did you see the guy in Sweden who got domed on a live stream for burning the Quran? Stay away from Islam. I saw that there was a major shooting incident, I think, in Sweden the other day. Wasn't it the most major shooting there? Like literally in their history, like modern history? Doug, domed, that means shot in the head, I believe. Or bashed in the head. Isn't Betty a woman's name? Wee-o-pee. Oh, chosen one. I'm coming. Chosen one. I'm coming. Chosen one. I'm coming. Chosen one, I'm coming. And then he gets hit with the tiny net, and and then he's rotting like a papaya, supposedly. Just watch Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Trust me, if you like comedy movies, you'll probably like it. In fact, maybe I'll watch it later. Yeah, the entire movie from front to back is just fantastic. And unfortunately, the studio company has repeatedly stonewalled Odekirk in making the sequel, the promised sequel, which is really, really sad because the first movie was so good and the slapstick comedy was so good. You can't help but market this, but you wouldn't actually make it, and it makes absolutely no sense. Meanwhile, he was what was that other movie? The one with the space raccoon or some shit like that. Odekirk, he produced a major movie, but I don't know exactly what it's called because I haven't seen it. What was the name of the one with the space raccoon that they made recently? He's the one that produced that. No, I don't think it was a Marvel movie. Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you, Muskovich. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy. Odekirk was the one that produced that. It's one of the biggest hits in modern movie history, but they won't give him his secondary. They won't give him his side project. And so I fault them for this. Yeah, I haven't actually seen Guardians of the Galaxy. Also, I'm not going to watch the second Joker movie because that got, I believe, rightfully panned for a reason. I'm not going to waste my time. Oh, the Joker gets raped in prison and dies. Well, you killed that franchise off real quick now, didn't you? Yeah, when I get down to New Orleans, I think that I'll requisition a vessel, don't you know? We'll go and fight the cartels or something like that. I am just joking when I say this. For legal purposes, I have to say that. The Slow Rider. When did Styx become a pirate? The second that I got this tricorn cap from a subscriber. Let's see. All right, anyway, I've got to go offline. And keep in mind, 1 p.m., I am live with the quartering, and we'll be covering news a little bit more meaningfully. This was a little bit of a Bantz stream, and I may or may not even go live tomorrow. Sigil, watch Joker's Wild on YouTube. It's got Joker played by the killer clown from Terrifier. Goodness, that sounds funny. But yeah, I'm going to do a quick news crawl, and then I'm going to go live with the quartering in a little bit less than an hour. So peace out, man.